Well, hello everybody. Today we'll be talking about company functions. It'll be a quite short course. And in fact, company functions will be dealing with the introduction, of course, the different departments that a company is made up of. Now, this can vary, of course, according to the size of the company and according to the needs of the company. And we'll be talking about communicating from one department to another. Of course, that comprises memos, but it also comprises email, because a lot of emailing is being done from one department to another, and something new, which is in fact old, it's one-to-one communication. Forget about the emails, forget about the memos, let's communicate in front of each other. And then we'll be talking about which objectives the companies want to reach, and that is managing by objectives. Okay, first of all, as an introduction, of course, we're going to talk about the inputs and the outputs. Now, the inputs, if we identify them, they can be either purchased items or non-purchased items, okay? So any business can be looked at as a process with inputs and outputs. Inputs, what you bring in. Outputs, of course, what you produce. So it can be made up of purchased items, of course, everything the company pays for, such as it can be, in fact, such as materials used in productions, supplies, raw materials, of course, but lights, transportation, taxes, of course, payroll, and contributions to local community, okay? Materials used in production, raw materials, everything linked to production, all the supplies necessary for the smooth running of the company. The freight, that means how you transport the goods from one place to another once they're either the supplies or the finished products. The utilities. Now, what does utilities mean? Utilities in English means electricity, water, anything that you pay for to a company and that you use on a daily basis, but mainly electricity and water. Okay? And local taxes, usually. Okay, so unless you're set up somewhere there that aims to attract you because there are no taxes in a free zone, for example, you will have local taxes. You know that at one point, about 10 years ago, it was worthwhile setting up in Ireland because the local taxes, in fact, had been cut. There were no local taxes, so a lot of, especially computer science firms, went to set up in Ireland. Okay, and of course, all the costs linked to labor, the payroll, but also the taxes you pay to the government linked to the payroll. Okay, and the local contributions either to, of course, the workers or the local community. And you have non-purchased input, okay, the natural lighting, the heating, okay, the cooling, all the natural things, the water. Okay, the water, why did I put water in the non-purchased items? In some cases, water is free, but usually it is not, okay? The natural resources, the waste from other sources. Now, that's an input, but it becomes an output, okay? It's kind of complicated. So some of the inputs become outputs, but in the outputs, you have everything that is generated, okay? Once you have all these inputs, of course, you're going to use everything, and everything is going to end up in either a service or a manufactured product, okay? Service, manufactured product. So everything that is generated, such as products, okay? Waste. The waste is considered to be an input and then it becomes an output because you have to get rid of it. Why is it considered an input? Because some of the waste can generate profit. It is either because it is recycled, it is sold to be recycled, okay? Contaminated air or water, that's an output which does not bring in money, and sometimes it costs money because you have to pay taxes to we've been talking about the carbon dioxide tax in France lately. Well, in the United States, some already pay taxes because they contaminate the air. And you know that there's a lot of business around that, because if you do not use up all your credit, you can sell your credit to another company. Heat, you're going to generate heat, which contributes, of course, to the pollution too. And of course, you're going to generate, and that is one of the major outputs besides the goods and the services, the major other output is economic wealth for the employees. The employees are going to, of course, earn money, and that economic wealth is not only limited to the employees. There's economic wealth for the community too, because if you set up your company in a small community, well, what are you going to do? You're going to bring in jobs, so you're going to generate local consumption, you're going to generate local housing. So your output is not only at the level of your company, it also, in fact, has consequences, and positive consequences, of course, on the community. Now, not always positive consequences, because if you have a very polluting industry, for instance, well, there's going to be, of course, a lot of job creation, but, of course, there may be a lot of hazards linked to that pollution. Okay, and to the quality of life of the place. But usually local communities, because they get taxes, because it generates business, they are really willing to welcome any business or any industry. Okay, of course, around all the nuclear plants, there's a lot of issue, and some regions do not want a nuclear plant to be set up because they consider that the outputs and the risks are not well balanced, okay? Of course, it creates jobs, but it's so dangerous. It's not my opinion, I'm just talking about what you can read. It's dangerous, it's polluting, etc. Okay, and the output, as I was saying, is on the community, okay? Building a stronger sense of community, building a richer community, and allowing the community to develop its infrastructures because the company needs it, and because, of course, it contributes financially. Okay, so that is how the company, in fact, is set up. It brings in inputs, but it also has outputs, and these inputs, the quality of the inputs and the outputs, has to be balanced. Of course, the outputs are on the shareholders too, because the shareholders, if there are any, of course, benefit from all that. They get the dividends at the end of the year. Well, maybe not in time of crisis, because a lot of companies have not been able to deal out the benefits this year, and they have retained benefits for reinvestment. Either you deal out the dividends, or you retain the capital in order to reinvest, especially in times of crisis where you have to find other solutions.